I got 2 phone calls that day, one that made me laugh and one that shattered my life. The first was from my dad, early in the morning. He was joking, making plans, talking about grabbing drinks that weekend. The second call came after dark, telling me he was dead. And not just him. Sherry, too. The woman he'd broken up with months ago. The official story? He shot her, then turned the gun on himself. Cut and dry, they said, but nothing about it felt right. And 6 years later, I still can't let it go. Let me back up a sec. September 2015, my dad's girlfriend Sherry cheats on him with his old high school buddy Billy. That guy was always a little off. Polite, sure, but weird. The kind of guy who talked too much about aliens or how the government was watching him. My dad didn't take the affair well, but he also didn't spiral. He said he was relieved, actually. They'd been fighting for a while, and this gave him a reason to officially end it. They lived in the same town, so he'd still bump into her sometimes. He kept it civil. Meanwhile, Sherry moved into a house just a few blocks away. By Thanksgiving, Dad was recovering from a car accident and out of work, waiting on a settlement. Money was tight, but he was bouncing back, spirits up, spending time with me, going to concerts, laughing again. That December morning, he called me from his flip phone, still rocking T9 in 2015, bless him, and we just laughed. He said Sherry had called earlier, but he ignored it. Didn't seem bothered. We hung up after 10 minutes. That was the last time I heard his voice. Hours later, I got a call. Your dad's gone. That was it. No details. Just a void. Moments later, my uncles and grandma were at my door, faces pale, trembling. They told me Sherry was dead too. The cops said it was a murder-suicide. My dad shot her, then himself. Said he was still holding the gun. Said they'd had sex before it happened. I mean, what? I didn't buy it. Not because I couldn't imagine my dad doing something awful, but because the pieces didn't fit. He wasn't depressed. He didn't even know where Sherry's new house was. And why use her gun when he had his own? Also, who ignores a call from someone they're supposedly about to murder? None of it made sense. 2 days later, I went to his place. Lights still on. Coffee half drunk. TV buzzing. Back door unlocked. Cat unfed. It looked like he left expecting to be back in 10 minutes. Not someone walking out to commit a murder-suicide. Cops gave me his phone. My boyfriend checked it and found something weird. A call to Sherry around 11 seconds long, made after he and I talked. But also a bunch of texts. Thing is, my dad didn't text. Ever. Didn't know how. His grammar was terrible. These texts were full sentences, correctly spelled. It wasn't him. I started hearing from people, friends, neighbors, telling me the story didn't sit right. But what could I do? The case was closed. Police weren't listening. I didn't want to be one of those conspiracy-obsessed family members spiraling into madness. Then came the twist. One of Dad's friends called me years later, urging me to look into Billy. Said he'd done some digging. Apparently, Sherry wasn't the first, or even the second, woman Billy had found dead. There was one who'd recently inherited a chunk of money, died at the bottom of her stairs. Then Sherry, who'd inherited around $700,000. Then another girlfriend, sick with organ failure, who died after allegedly begging Billy for help for days. 3 women, 3 deaths, 1 man in common. Oh, and guess what? Billy took photos of my dad and Sherry's bodies before calling the cops. Later showed them to his daughter. Why? That's when everything clicked. What if Billy didn't just find the scene? What if he staged it? Think about it. He kills Sherry, uses her phone to lure my dad over, maybe with a sob story. My dad leaves his house mid-morning, coffee on the table, cat still waiting to be fed. Gets to her house, maybe confused, maybe ambushed. Billy kills him, puts the gun in his hand, calls it a crime of passion. Boom. Dad looks guilty, and Billy walks free. Maybe with some of that money. I started reaching out. Police, FOIA requests, the whole deal. Eventually, I met with the lead investigator, now a deputy chief. He was respectful, but didn't budge. Still stood by the original ruling. But then, he dropped a folder on the table. Inside, an 8x10 crime scene photo of my dad, gun in hand, blood everywhere. I wasn't ready for that. Neither was my mom. We gasped. It took the air out of me. But even then, something felt off. The way the hand was placed, too perfect. The amount of blood, too much, given what they told me. It felt posed, clean, like someone was telling a story with the scene. And then came Linda, Billy's ex-wife. She called me out of the blue, wanted to talk, said she had things to get off her chest. She's battling cancer, and I think mortality was catching up to her. What she said absolutely floored me. She told me she used to be in love with my dad, said he was kind, fun, a real man's man. That caught me off guard. But then she told me about her marriage to Billy, said he once tried to drive her off a mountain during a family trip, pinned her foot to the gas pedal during a fight. Later, he beat her on the roadside while she held their toddler. A truck driver pulled him off her. Cops got involved. She divorced him. Then, she said, after Sherry died, Billy started dating her. Mom. Yes, his ex-mother-in-law. That woman also died. Liver failure. But rumors say Billy withheld her meds. She weighed just 75 pounds when she passed. Linda confronted him, and he reportedly shouted, "I let the beep-eye puissant die, and everything she had is mine." That was the last time they spoke. Linda told me, "If you're wrong, your life stays the same. But if you're right, my daughters' lives fall apart." Then she gave me her blessing to keep digging. Problem is, Billy's vanished. No one's seen him. Missed his daughter's wedding. Stopped paying child support. Ghost. And honestly, that makes me even more certain. I've seen enough, heard enough, to believe my dad didn't do this. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I know my father didn't leave his house that day to murder someone. He left to meet someone, probably confused, maybe concerned, and never came home. And if I'm right, then a con man, abuser, and likely serial killer walked away scot-free. Again. So tell me, what would you do? Would you let it go? Trust the file stamped "case closed"? Or would you fight for the truth, even when no one wants to hear it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know, do you think Billy got away with murder? Or am I chasing shadows? Either way, the truth deserves a voice. Let's talk about it.